Hi, I'm Katy Wickremesinghe and I'm excited to present The Wick, a place where we are on a mission to connect the culturally curious and to bring you into a world which celebrates visual arts, culture and creativity in all its forms. Today we're here at the Design Museum in Kensington, West London, to explore a design object a little bit closer to home, on our feet. Sneakers Unboxed from studio to street in collaboration with StockX will allow visitors to go behind the scenes of this universal design object. Visitors will be able to chart the rise of this footwear phenomenon, initially known primarily for its athletic function, but fast being known to challenge and transform performance design, unite cultures and transform the way we see our fashion worlds. Through the course of this diverse exhibition, you'll get a chance to journey through no less than 200 pairs of sneakers, from old favourites, Stan Smith, to Converse Chuck Taylor All-Stars, and also Nike Alphas, as well as exploring innovations and technology of the sneaker future. From Satoshi blockchain to MIT Design Labs with Puma and Adidas making robots. We'll also be looking at nods towards sustainability. In 2020, a mind-boggling 1 billion pairs of sneakers was sold worldwide, and StockX values the resale market at no less than $6 billion. I'm excited that we're here today in conversation with Tim Marlow OBE, Chief Executive and Director of the Design Museum. So Tim, thank you so much for joining us today to have a chat with the Wick. So we're here at Sneakers Unboxed. I can't let the moment pass without asking you, what are you wearing on your feet today?
And I'm glad you asked me that, because they're Veja and they're fully sustainable. So I'm helping the planet and and on trend, they're great.
Well, congratulations and welcome back. Fantastic to have museums open again. Can you tell us a little bit about how this exhibition, Sneakers Unboxed, came about?
Well, it's been in the pipeline for quite a long time. And what's interesting is it was ready to go a year ago, but the show you see now isn't the same as it would have been then. And if we delayed it another year, it would be a slightly different show because it's an ongoing saga. But anyway, it was there, it was ready. We managed to get a wonderful curator, Ligaya Salazar, who came in halfway through the project, but has managed to shape it in the way you see it now, building on the work of colleagues before that. But this is a fantastic experience for me, because all that creativity, imagination, but the role of commerce, entrepreneurship, street style, the symbiosis between big corporations, creative designers, and the people who wear them is really complex and really inspiring, actually.
Sneakers are inextricably linked with culture, and this exhibition looks at various influential youth culture and international movements, from the bubbleheads in Cape Towns, the Mexican Colombianos, the casuals and the West Coast skaters. All shared a desire to express their identity through their choice of sneaker.
Sneakers have become sort of symbiotic, as you say, with our culture and our values. And there's also a lot about the international sort of impact of how the sneaker has evolved over the past 100 years. Can you talk to us a bit about some of the regions and territories that you cover in the exhibition?
Sneakers are a brilliant example of how different parts of the world, and within different parts of the world, different subgroups or tribes or style tribes, actually appropriate and reappropriate brands in their own way.
Rewind to 1984, when a 21-year-old basketball player, Michael Jordan, signed with an even younger Nike, collectively putting into action a partnership that would rewrite the rules of athletic endorsements and consumerism on an epic and global scale.
Over the course of the exhibition, what would you say was the most challenging part in terms of sourcing? There's obviously sort of not only historically but geographically, it's a very complex exhibition to put together. So which part was most challenging, or which model of shoe was most hard to find?
You know what, it's funny, it's because it's actually the ones that you wouldn't necessarily believe are so hard to find. It's the kind of late 80s, early 90s pairs of like Air Max 1, Air Jordan 1, Adidas Torsions, because actually it's a period where sports companies start kind of experimenting with materials more, and those shoes are not very, they don't hold up very well to time.
interesting to see, particularly with this exhibition being partnered with StockX, around the resale value, and this idea with your visual arts background, obviously from the Royal Academy and White Cube, is how the sneaker has translated into an art form and a collectible form of its own. And it'd be great to hear more. I mean, what's your view in terms of it as an art form and a collectible? Because we're seeing, aren't we, more and more secondary market sneakers.
We are. I mean, people's capacity and desire to collect is sort of intrinsic to who we are. And try and make sense of the world around us by the things that we collect is one kind of motivation. I think it's art and design blur in certain aspects of sneaker culture. I think the notion of the ritualized object is very important, which also art plays with. I think it's really interesting you mentioned collaboration, because design is fundamentally collaborative. Visual arts have been collaborative, but it's still often around the one creator, or the notion of the one creator or auteur. But the Jordans are really interesting in the mid-80s, because what I didn't realise so clearly was that he was an unknown rising star, or an unknown who was backed as a rising star. So there was a punt on him. Yeah. And he became the greatest basketball player, I think indisputably. I don't think anyone said there's been a greater player. So they kind of struck lucky, or they were visionary. And that reminds me of a lot of the furore around backing or discovering younger artists.
So just as we've been walking through the exhibition, I'm excited that we've bumped into Kish Kash, who's a cultural curator and sneakers expert. So Kish Kash, tell us about your experience today. What do you think of the exhibition?
Oh, I think the exhibition is absolutely fantastic. The way it's been presented, and when you're looking at all the different elements in play. But the key thing is actually relaying it in terms that somebody who's not familiar with the subject can gain a bit of accessibility to it, understanding, comprehension, and be entertained as well as educated.
Which sneaker is the most pivotal in your view?
Ooh, the ones that I loaned. No, no.
Actually, yeah. Let's go back to that. Which one's your favourite that you loaned?
I loaned 3 pairs, but I gave the Air Max 360 a Powerwall edition, which was pretty rare, very rare in fact. So rare that I don't think anyone else could provide that shoe. And there's been other collectors who've been in a similar position, that they've got something that has been so rare, you can't find it on eBay, you can't find it on StockX, you can't find it. I look at sneakers as works of art.
Thank you for mentioning StockX, because we as museum directors, we feel duty-bound to acknowledge the support that we get from sponsors, without whom we couldn't do the project we want to do. But StockX are part of the story. Yeah. So the whole about the resale platforms, they've both made markets, they've sought out markets, they've facilitated, and they've reflected. And they're a creative organisation in entrepreneurial terms. And actually, I love the fact that we can embed the people who are helping us financially support the show into part of the exhibition.
It's a really, really fantastic exhibition. So thank you so much for having us here today, and wishing you the very best of luck with it. Sneakers Unboxed is on at the Design Museum until the 24th of October.